Stopping traffic. Sips the big thrills. Yeah, you know you can't be mad at it.
Hello, guys.
Welcome back.
Hi, friends.
Hi, friends. How you doing?
You know, I don't know how I'm doing.
Right.
I'm doing all right. I'm feeling stupid today, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
But this is a good episode.
Yeah, so today is going to be a little bit different of an episode because life just happens.
Yeah.
And what we're learning on this podcast journey is that we never know where the wind's going to take us.
And life is moving fast.
And life's moving fast.
So, a little moral of today, I think everyone just stop and smell the roses.
And enjoy the ride.
Yeah, because life is fun and life is moving. So
Yeah. And it's
don't
not
blink.
about the destination, it's about the journey.
Hell
and boy,
yes.
have we been on a journey.
Oh, yes.
So to give a little bit of a background for today's episode, I believe it was our second episode, I had mentioned a journey that I was going to start, my tequila journey. And I had talked about this guy. His handle is the Tequila Collective. His name's Rob. And I had put up a clip about some of the things he talks about different tequilas and the additives and stuff that are being put in it and just sifting through to find good tequilas. And that was my goal, is to start my tequila journey. And I had put up a clip tagging him in it. And we had gotten so flooded with comments on that post about different people and tequilas and their thoughts on it and stuff like that. And then Rob reached out and he had commented on the post about being on an episode, oh, next you have to get me on or whatever. And then I very randomly was scrolling through his stories, and he had said that he was going to be in New York for a couple days. So I ran to him, DM'd him, "You're going to be in New York. When are you going to be here? We're in New York." And he was like, "I'm only going to be here for 2 days." I was like, "Oh, I'm sure your schedule is really busy. You're only going to be here for 2 days." And he was like, "No, actually, it's pretty open. I have some time if you guys want to meet me." So Natalie and I jumped on a train and we headed into the city and we hung out with and talked to Rob,
our
the
buddy
Tequila
Rob
Collective. And it all happened so fast. It literally all happened in within 24 hours. And
Yeah.
I have never expected that this guy that I had followed on Instagram now for so long talking about tequilas, which I'm not even a big tequila drinker. So it's just very bizarre. Yet, but I will be. And it's this guy that I had followed, and then all of a sudden I was in the city with him. We were at a liquor store, and he picked out a bottle for me to start my tequila journey.
Yeah.
So just very bizarre how life happens. And
he's from LA.
Yes.
So it's just cool to think of how, I know we always talk about all the cons, I feel of social media, but it is a pro is that this
stuff like this
how
happens.
big the world is, how small things
yeah,
social media can make it feel. You
know?
I
said, I never expected this guy that I followed, that I was like, oh, I'm going to follow his Instagram for his tequila, would then be picking out my tequila in person with me.
Right. And he was
on
so
the pod.
cool, so
and
nice.
He was so cool and so nice. And it was just what a fun day we had. What a fun experience. And
we
then
now have a
after
friend
that,
out in LA.
We have a friend in LA, and then we did a couple things. We got some lunch at this really cool place after, which we'll talk about. But for now, we're going to start this episode with Tequila Rob.
Tequila Rob. Enjoy, guys.
Enjoy all the things you need to know about tequila.
So, if you're drinking this kind of stuff, you're drinking garbage.
So 100% agave
Right.
means it's literally made fully with what does that even mean?
So an agave plant is a plant that's indigenous to the American Southwest into Mexico.
Okay.
And they are more close. A lot of people think that they're succulents or they're cactus, but really they're closer related to asparagus. And what they are these big, giant, they come in many varieties. I think there's around 200 to 250 varieties of agave. Tequila can only be made from one type, blue weber agave. So what they'll do is they'll take this giant plant. It has these big leaves, which are pretty spiky. They cut those off, and it reveals the heart, what was called a piña. That has a lot of sugars in it. So what they'll do is they'll chop it up and they'll roast it, typically using steam to cook it.
Okay.
And then they'll extract the juice from the fibers, and then that is fermented, and then that becomes alcohol once it's distilled. That becomes tequila.
Oh, wow.
So all tequila is going to be made from 100%, or I'm sorry, all tequila is going to be made from blue agave.
Okay.
Not all of them are 100% agave, but the problem with the regulatory body that regulates tequila is, by law, you can say you're 100% agave while still using additives. So even though this is 100% on the label, this has about 1% of something that is not so natural. Probably like artificial color, artificial, sweetener, things to add texture to it. So when people tell me I hate tequila, I've only had Jose Cuervo in college, or I only drink 818, or I only drink 1942, the problem is you're drinking stuff with additives in it. So you want to drink something that's additive free, and that's like the stuff that I always talk about. So you are not going to go from this to like this shelf, which is all additive free stuff, and be like, oh my god, I love tequila. But this is going to be, I'm just being honest with you, like all alcohol is an acquired taste, but this is going to at least be more natural and not give you those weird, like overly sweet vibes and shit like that. So
Now, what about hangover wise? Would this give you?
this is going to be less of a hangover too, because again, you don't
Less
have,
sugar.
well, it's not even the sugar, you just don't have chemical products.
Okay.
But again, it's all alcohol, so if you're over drinking any amount of alcohol, whether it has additives or not, you're gonna fuck yourself up.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
All right. And now we were talking about like different things that we were unsure of, like about. So okay, Blanco, Reposado, Anejo. The difference is how long
they're aged. So Blancos can be aged up to 60 days, but
Okay.
typically they just go straight from the still into a bottle.
Okay.
Reposado, if you want to, people give me shit about how I speak Spanish, I barely speak Spanish. So a Reposado is aged from anywhere from 60 days to 364 days.
Okay.
As soon as it hits that 1 year mark, it becomes an añejo. And anything that's aged from a year to 3 years is an añejo, and anything that's 3 years or older is an extra añejo.
Okay.
So
And then what was the mezcal, right? Was there other?
Yeah, what's a mezcal?
What the hell is mezcal?
so
What the hell is
So
mezcal?
mezcal is a basically agave spirit. So tequila is a type of mezcal, but because it's such a big industry on its own, it has all of its own denomination and all kinds of things like that.
So it's actually different, like
Yes and no. There are certain regulations for tequila specifically, but it is a type of mezcal. Whereas other mezcals, which are over there, they can be made from a bunch of different varieties of agave. So like, remember, this can only be made from one type of agave, if it's tequila, blue pepper. But mezcal can be made from, I think, anywhere from like 30 to 40 different varieties.
Oh, wow, okay.
The process of how they make it differs a little bit as well. Usually it's the cooking process that's the biggest difference. But it's really just the agave and the cooking process and the location where it's made. Tequila can only be made in one of 5 regions in Mexico, the most being made in the state of Jalisco. Whereas mezcal has their own regions in Mexico, mainly Oaxaca is where mezcal is made.
interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Science.
And then there's different varieties of mezcal along with tequila. There's Sotol, there's Raicilla, there's all kinds of different types of mezcal. So yeah, there's a lot to know, but it's also pretty basic if you want to boil it down.
Now, where we were talking about like all the different things I would ask, so I'm gonna forget everything. But how did you get started, like educating yourself on all of that? This is so interesting to me. I have to
Look
know.
at me, I'm just a fucking nerd.
But where did were you always just a tequila guy?
No, so I was in my early 20s. We would after work, I'd go to different like bars with the guys that I worked with, and we would just drink beer. And it got to a point, I was like 25. I'm 32 now, and I was like, I don't want to drink beer anymore. Like it's too filling. It tastes like shit. So I was like, I need to have like an adult drink. So I tried whiskey. I was going to be like a bourbon bro, because what else are typical
A bourbon bro.
typical white men,
Yeah.
got to be a bourbon bro. And I was like, nah, I don't want to. Bourbon was just too hot for me.
Yeah.
And it was starting to get very popular, so the prices were going way up. Scotch was too smoky for me, and that's why I don't drink a lot of mezcal, because it's also very smoky because of the way they cook the agave.
Okay.
So I stayed away from that, and I was just like, I don't want to do whiskey. Didn't want to get into wine because that felt like too whatever. But there was something about the bottles on the shelf. The pretty bottles of tequila like suckered me in. But now I know that like you want to avoid the pretty bottles if you can. There are some pretty bottles to be had, but for the most part you want to avoid those because they're using their really pretty decanter. Clase Azul is probably the best example. They're using that really pretty bottle to sell a really cheap, shitty tequila.
They hand paint. I saw a video, right?
Yeah, I mean, it is a work of art. They're all handmade. They're ceramic. They're all hand painted. Like, that's great. Like, I love that. But, like, make a good tequila before. If you need your bottle to sell your liquid, like, it's backwards. I would rather you have a good liquid in a really just, this is one of the best bottles you can get. This is really traditionally made. It comes from a great distillery. This bottle is just a plain, like basically a wine bottle that they slap a label on. Yeah. And a lot of people overlook it because they're not familiar with the brand, they're not familiar with this bottle, and this bottle doesn't stand out unless you know what you're looking for compared to, actually the best example is that bottle of Tapatio right there. That's even less pretty in my opinion.
Which one?
This bottle.
This, yeah.
This is the best value bottle you can get. This is like the best value.
I wouldn't look at that label and go,
No,
yeah, that's a good tequila,
This is
right?
the best.
right.
This is the best value. This is a screw off top. Doesn't even have a cork. The Tapatio, you go hot sauce. But this is the best value in this store. This is the best value in any store for the most part. But
Now, is it true that tequila is the only liquor that's a stimulant?
no.
That's not true.
I don't believe that. I think that's a myth. Some people will argue that it is. All alcohol is a depressant at a certain level.
Or
So,
like you'll have a more fun time if you drink tequila because it's a stimulant.
well, that's just because Mexicans are the best people to hang out with. So that's probably why you'll be having a good time. The Mexican people are just amazing. So,
And then we said, because we were talking about, you said like bourbon was like too warm. Now, drinking tequila, chilled?
No.
Or really?
yeah. So to drink any spirit, if you want to get the full flavor, you want to drink it pretty much around room temperature. Neat. You don't want it over ice. You don't want it to be watered down. You don't want it to be chased with anything. You don't want to take shots of it. I mean, you can drink however you want. Like, if you're spending the money on a bottle, fuck it, I don't give a shit.
Maggie is not, like she said, a tequila person yet. But
I'll get that.
right. So we talk a lot about additive free and stuff like that. Are other liquors like your vodkas or gin or whatever, are there similar stories of like them being made, like some companies can cutting corners to make, whatever. Are there people like you who really break down tequila for those other
I'm
spirits?
sure there are.
Right.
I know that there are. I don't know. I can't give you a definitive answer. I have heard in whiskey that there are additives being used.
Okay.
I don't know how prevalent they are. I don't know what the purpose of them is. I would assume it's similar to the tequila industry.
Yeah.
I really don't know. I know a lot of wines have additives in them as well.
Yeah.
But again, that's all I know. I don't know a lot about other alcohol besides what I like from those categories of spirits.
Yeah.
I really just know.
But you could probably do the deep dive if you wanted to.
Oh, I'm sure I could
into
find.
the
Oh, I'm sure.
others. Okay.
Yeah, I could find the information.
We might have to do that. We might
A
have
lot
to
of
do
googling, and then
Yeah.
because of what I do in tequila, like I've run into a lot of people in other spirits that do something similar, and I'm sure I could message them and figure it out.
Totally. And so if you had to drink one tequila for the rest of your life, only one,
I don't have one.
has to be one
I mean,
tequila.
I'll give you three that I
Okay,
can
I'll
that are
take
here.
three. Okay.
That are here. I mean, because the ones that I would drink forever are not here. Like, this one's a really good one, San Valles. The same distillery makes this bottle here.
Okay.
This one's super good. Ah, shit, now I'm gonna have to take like 5 because there's a bunch of them. That Tapatio Blanco, that's a good one.
Okay.
But I mean, like, this is a great brand, Los Dos.
Okay.
Artinan is really cool because they highlight, notice these numbers denote the distillery where they come from. So each distillery is assigned a 4-digit number. So this brand highlights different distilleries within their brand. So this is a different distillery than this,
Right.
There's just like, I don't like to answer the question of what's the best, what's my favorite, what's the one that I would drink forever, because a lot of it depends on your mood.
They all do something different for you.
Yeah,
at
exactly.
different times.
Exactly. A lot of it depends on your mood. Sometimes it depends on the weather. Sometimes it depends on, you know, am I at home at night just having a glass by myself? Am I with my friends having, you know, a whole tasting? It really depends.
So then, how much? What is the most expensive bottle of tequila? Think about it. What's the most spent on?
I have a few bottles that were in the $300 range.
Yeah.
But the thing that I like to tell people is good tequila doesn't have to be expensive. And expensive tequila isn't always good.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, there are bottles here, I'm sure somewhere in the store that, I think there's a couple over there that, you know, they're several $100s. I would never drink them.
Yeah.
I would never drink them because they're not good.
Yeah.
So.
When you talked about me starting my tequila journey, the recommendations you sent, a lot of them, most of them were reposados, was what it was to start with.
That's
I feel like, but you know, growing up, like starting to drink whatever, I've always like gravitated towards, or you think you're supposed to gravitate towards the clear tequila or silver tequila. So but you're saying no.
Yeah. So a repo is a good place to start, and the reason why is because again, it's got a little bit of time in a barrel, anywhere from 2 to 12 months.
Yeah.
And that time in a barrel, and normally they're like, you know, there's no normal average time, but a lot of them are just, you know, 4, 5, 6 months in a barrel.
Yeah.
So it's enough to keep that agave flavor, you know, which it's a plant, so it can be very vegetal, but also it can give very fruity and floral types of flavors and aromas. But then you can also get like weird amounts of minerality and vegetal, like you know, olives and asparagus and like just all kinds of weird flavors. But by sitting in a barrel for a few months, it gives a little bit of sweetness. That sweetness, I think, makes it easier for people to drink when they're just getting into tequila. Otherwise, blancos can be a little too harsh.
Yeah.
And añejos and extra añejos, they start to get a little too much like whiskey.
Yeah.
Because they spent too much time in a barrel. They're all good, and whatever the preference is, like that's up to you. I don't, you know, again, I don't care what you drink as long as you're enjoying it. But I think if you want to start, a reposado is the best place to start.
Okay.
So,
All right, cool.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm gonna pick up a bottle today of reposado.
Let's pick one out.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's pick out a reposado to start with my tequila journey with the tequila collector.
Actually, yeah.
Who knew that's where this was gonna take us?
Yeah. Who knew? Who knew? So let's go through because there's a couple that I see, but I'm not sure what if you have a budget. I'm not sure if you have like a desired like flavor or aroma profile that you are
like
preferring.
Really gonna start from scratch here.
Okay,
on this tequila journey.
So I actually just posted a video yesterday of some of like my favorite bottles in the $20 price range.
Okay.
That I think are good bottles to start with.
Okay.
Because of their price range. So this is one of them.
Okay.
That looks like, is that a liter? Yeah, that's a liter. So I don't know if you want a whole liter, but it's just a little bit more than
It will
the
get
average.
drunk at my house regardless.
Yeah. So
if I like it or not.
so this is a good budget option, and this is a good budget option. But you've tried certain tequilas already.
Yes.
And I think there are a couple on the shelf here that are worth drinking that may not be so budget friendly, but are not too expensive and they're still good.
Yeah, I'm down for that. I can do that.
This bottle is really good, full ons.
Okay.
However, I do think it might be a little too advanced, we'll say.
All right.
So we're going to stay away from that, but I just wanted to point it out so maybe you'll recognize it at a later date if you see it. The one that I would go with, though, is this bottle here. So this
It's
is
a staff pick.
I guess the staff knows what they're talking about because they got a lot of crap on the shelves too.
Yeah. Those are the staff picks.
But this is so someone knows what they're doing here. This is a good one. So Siete Leguas, they've been around. This year actually marks their 70th anniversary.
Okay.
they make their tequila in a pretty traditional way, which is really cool to see. They actually still use mules to pull their tahona, and what a tahona is a giant volcanic stone that crushes the agave once it's cooked. They cook their agave using steam in these old brick ovens, and you can eat cooked agave. Like, it tastes like honey. And Siete Legos has the best cooked agave, in my opinion.
Okay.
So
That's it, I'm sold.
You'll get really nice sweets. They use highland agave, so those highland versus lowland agave typically produces a more floral and fruity flavor and aroma as well. So you'll get nice floral flavors, nice fruity flavors. You'll definitely get like a little bit of honey flavor as well, which I love.
Okay.
And then you're just getting a really good quality bottle that comes in a box, which looks fancy.
Yeah, I like it. It's funny because we had mentioned on our episode when we talked about you originally, that one of the things that I had seen in one of your videos, I watch a lot of your videos, obviously, was to try and tell how to tell if they're additive free. Is one of the tricks is to put it on your hand and rub your hands, and if it's sticky, you can kind of tell right away there's additives, and it shouldn't be that way.
That's not the. It's not a foolproof way.
Right. Well, so Natalie had gone to a wedding this past weekend,
Okay.
and her boyfriend's sister, was it your boyfriend's sister?
Boyfriend's brother's
sister.
No, boyfriend's brother's girlfriend.
girlfriend, right.
Jeez, okay.
Rubbed
Somebody.
tequila
Yeah,
on
so-
her hands to see because of what we said in the podcast.
Yeah.
So what are your, we had talked about, you mentioned things that you look for when you're looking for.
So there's unfortunately there's no foolproof way.
Yeah.
And the biggest problem that I have with tequila, really the only problem I have with tequila, is the lack of transparency within the industry. Again, every single bottle on this shelf probably says that it's 100% agave, but that does not mean they can't use additives. Because legally they can still say 100% agave while using up to 1% additives.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people will say to me, well, 1%, what's the big deal, bro? And for me, it's not so, it's two things. It's one, the lack of transparency. I mean, it's just dishonest to say that it's 100% when it's technically not.
Yeah.
But the bigger issue is these additives are, it's not like a little bit of vanilla extract that you get in like, the grocery store.
Right.
They're highly concentrated chemicals.
Yeah.
They've been manufactured in laboratories to make it so that it's almost seamless, from like actual natural made tequila to additive filled tequila.
Right.
So those are my two biggest issues. Unfortunately, there isn't really a way to determine just by looking at a label.
Right.
Some bottles, like a bottle like this, it says on the back here, 100% additive free.
Oh, okay,
So
yeah.
in very small writing though,
Yeah.
because it's harder to get that on the label than you might think.
Yeah.
But then you also have a brand like this that, for whatever reason, they got no additives right on the front.
yeah.
But very few brands are able to do this. So I don't know. I really don't know how they did
So
it.
what do you look for when you're trying to buy a tequila?
So a couple things are color.
Okay.
Color is your big indicator, and that's why I typically say stay away from bottles that are like super pretty and you can't see them.
Yeah.
Either they're colored glass or they're ceramic and you can't see the color.
Yeah.
Because it's like, what are you guys hiding?
Yeah, right.
So for me, like, I look at color.
Okay.
So I'm trying to look at trying to see what a good indication would be.
There's so many tequila.
So, like this is not aged all that long.
Yeah.
And it is very, very dark. And that could be for a variety of reasons. One, it could be the char that's on the barrel.
Yeah.
It can be how long it sits in a barrel.
Yeah.
Or it can be the additives that they use.
Right.
So even though this is an añejo, to me this just looks a little too dark
Right.
for what a añejo should look like. Because if we look, let's see, I'm trying to see if they have any additive-free añejos, but I don't think they do. Well, we can compare repos, I guess. So like, I don't know. There aren't a lot. That's the problem. We don't have a lot to choose. If we were back home in LA, we could give some better examples. I'll just stick with that because color is a big indicator.
Yeah.
The other thing too, and this is going to sound crazy because I just told you like this is a good value and that's a good value, is price. And that usually correlates with some verbiage that they have on labels. Did I see a bottle of Terramana? I feel like I did. Did I not? So I'll pick on Terramana. Terramana, they say that they're small batch tequila. It's the Rock's tequila. They're,
Oh, yes, I've had it before.
right.
Okay.
So somehow they are small batch tequila.
Yeah.
And then The Rock makes Instagram videos about how they've sold more tequila in this last year than any other brand ever. So how are you making a small batch tequila and then selling more than anybody else?
Right.
And then on top of it, you're making a small batch tequila and it's only $30.
Yeah.
These brands that are making, this liter bottle for $35, this ain't small batch.
Yeah, right.
They're making a lot of it.
Yeah.
Because you just can't make enough money if you're making only a little bit of tequila and selling it for $32 a bottle.
Yeah.
So those kind of things like that to me is a red flag.
Yeah.
Trying to think of a few other things that are easy to spot. Triple distillation has started to pop up a lot. I've seen brands advertise like we're triple distilled. Once you do more than 2 distillations with tequila, you start to get vodka basically.
Oh, okay.
You get agave vodka.
Okay.
By law, tequila must be distilled twice, but anything more, you start to flush out most of the flavor.
Okay.
So if it's triple distilled, it either tastes very bland, like pretty much nothing,
Yeah.
or it tastes like additives.
Yeah.
So triple distilled is something, but a lot of it is just, the other thing too is experience.
Yeah.
You gotta drink a lot.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. The only way you're really gonna know is if you drink it.
You gotta drink a lot.
Right.
You gotta try a lot of things, and then you develop the flavor, the palate for it. Like
Yeah.
that bottle of Casamigos, the Blanco,
Yeah.
that tastes like vanilla cake.
Right.
Now, vanilla can be a natural occurring flavor in tequila, but tequila doesn't taste like vanilla cake.
Right.
So you just start to pick up on things with experience. Unfortunately, there's no transparency, and there's nothing, there's really nothing we can do. The only other thing I could recommend is there's a website and an app, Tequila Matchmaker, and they have a list of confirmed additive-free brands.
Okay, cool.
So I would encourage people to download that free app and go on, and look at the list of additive-free brands, and then I would just buy that stuff. Because then because they're a third party who's gone in and verified.
Yeah.
Or confirmed.
We didn't realize how, because at first when I started this, it was really, just, getting it free and stuff like that. I think once you had reposted our story, I got flooded with comments on that post about people really passionately talking about not just the tequilas that are additive free, but what the additive tequilas are doing to the industry as a whole, the tequila industry, how harmful it really is. And somebody who commented, like you said, that 1% is super, super concentrated though, and it's opened up a whole new, it's just like beyond just about it tasting good or being additive free. It's like a whole other world about tequila and what that industry.
Well, keep in mind, so one of the things that I love about tequila is that, unlike whiskey or wine or, most other spirits or alcohol beverages, they're very seasonal in whatever crop they use to produce the product. So, with bourbon, it's got to be corn. Right. So corn is seasonal. Wine is seasonal for grapes. All that stuff is very seasonal. Agave to mature takes anywhere from 6 to 8 years in the ground.
Right.
So you plant a field of agave today, you're not doing anything with it for at least 6 years until that agave is matured to the sugar content to make tequila.
Right.
But with additives, what brands are doing, especially the big brands like Don Julio and Casamigos, which is owned by the same parent company, those types of brands, they're using very immature agave because they know on the back end they can go and sweeten it up with some kind of additive.
Right. They don't need to wait that long.
Even though the agave didn't have the sugar content necessary to make good quality tequila in the first place.
They're going to add it and fake it.
Exactly. And we don't want anybody to ever fake it.
No faking it.
Yeah.
You don't fake it either.
No.
You don't fake it.
You never want anybody to fake it.
Well, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time to spend. Is there anything else you want to say about tequila and your journey or your just tequilas?
No, not really. I don't
Well,
know.
we really appreciate you being here. This has been such a treat because, like we said, it all within 24 hours. This kind of just came together, and this has been. And now I have my first tequila. I'm gonna start with.
Really solid. That's a really solid bottle.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited for you. Let me know how it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. Nat, anything you want to add?
No, I feel like I learned so much. It's like I said, it's a whole new world.
Do a tequila person.
Yeah, you gotta
I don't
get
know.
better quality stuff. How's my hair, by the way? Does it look crazy?
Yeah, no, looks good. looks good. You look fantastic.
All right.
Thank you.
Signing off.
Thank you.
I hope you learned a thing or two.
I hope you learned a thing or two.
We're back.
And we're back. But yes, we hope you liked our little interview with Tequila Rob.
I'm not. They probably think I'm drunk already, guys. I'm just tired.
We didn't even start drinking yet.
Didn't. Oh God.
How fun of an experience was that?
It really was so cool. First of all, we love the city. Obviously, lately it's been like life has just been life, so it's been more difficult to get there and whatnot. But it's always fun to hop on the train and just hit Manhattan.
Yes.
It is a luxury of living here on Long Island.
Totally.
That we definitely don't take advantage of enough.
I feel like I used to, but not as much anymore. Because life. Because life.
Yeah. You don't have a freaking second to do anything. Never mind that. So, going there was awesome. The liquor store was huge. So, like, gave a little bit of like a Total Wines vibe.
Yeah.
In the sense that it had everything.
And they were so cool there letting us film too.
They had their cute little aprons on.
Yeah, I loved it. I love an apron moment
Yeah,
for like a store clerk.
I love that. Love it. We obviously learned so much from Rob. It was just like a cool experience all around, you know?
Yeah.
So
the only thing that I didn't like about that day was that when we put the camera down after we did our interview with Rob, we still spent so much time with him. He walked us to like our next place, and we had such a good conversation about just life and how he got started, like with his Instagram and all that, social media, his life in LA. He was telling us stories, and that I wish so badly we would have been able to like really sit him down like we do here with our guests normally and really interview him and talk about it, because it was so much stuff besides tequila, so much good stuff. It was just such a good conversation. He's such a cool guy. And that was my only like, I wish we would have been able to film all of that and get all of that. But regardless, it was still, I'm glad we had those moments anyway. So.
Yeah, 100%. No, he really was. He was so friendly, so like, felt like we were friends with him already. He walked us to lunch.
Yeah, he walked us to where we're gonna go eat lunch, which was so nice.
Yeah,
you know,
and he had just like a lot of good pointers for us and advice for us. And you know, we discussed how I'm not like a very creative. I'm definitely not a tech savvy person, so I always struggle with posting content, creating content. Like, I give all credit to anyone who's like a content creator, because I genuinely think it's so hard following just like what's trending, what's in, what works, what doesn't, what looks cool, you know, like it really is a whole new world that I definitely am not experienced or well versed in. You are. Someone like Rob obviously is. He's giving different pointers. He said, you know, post all the time and do this and do that, and accept that you're going to get criticism and hate and it's a lot, and you don't realize like how much goes into it. You're scrolling, you know, we all do it for countless hours, scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and you're just like, oh, that was a good video, like, next, you know, and you don't think about how much goes into it, you know, until you really sit down and talk to someone like that, or try doing it yourself, and you're like, holy fuck, like,
well, what did you say about it? You were like, my brain doesn't work that way.
It just doesn't work that way.
But some people, mine doesn't even really work that way, but some people are really like, they can just do it. Like, Rob had said that he met with somebody before us, you know, in the morning he had a meeting, and it was this guy who just makes these insane videos, and it's not like, he doesn't even have to think about it. He knows exactly what he's going to post, exactly how he's going to do it, exactly how he's going to do it. And it's boom, 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 done. And my brain, your brain, we just don't, they don't work that way. It really is a talent.
It is. It's like a gift. I really do believe it. I mean, I have one friend who, like, whenever we go out to eat, you know, you always want to take a picture and your food comes out, and it's like, mine always looks like some bootleg version of hers, or like I took it off her phone. I took a picture of her screen, like, and the way she takes it, you'd think she had like a strobe light on it or whatever. And I'm like, what the fuck am I doing wrong? I feel like you either got it or you don't.
But I feel like you got it. Like, there's been times, especially during your like glow up, that you've posted some like insane pictures. Like, really well taken. Yes, I've always thought about that about your Instagram. I've always been like, Natalie takes such good pictures.
See,
and
I
I
don't think so at all. I feel
Really?
like I have no skill like behind the camera.
No, you do.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Sarah.
because and then I feel like me and my friends get together and I think it's just because we're older, but like
No.
we don't take pictures. Like I would never ask Alex to like, take a picture of me. Like it's just not what we do. But yeah, I've always thought that
we
you
gotta
always
start
take
getting
good pictures.
more comfortable with the uncomfortable. You
that what it
have
is?
Alex take a picture of you. I'm gonna start trying to create something. I don't know
Yeah.
what it's gonna be, and it's
Yeah.
not gonna turn out great, but I'll try.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but I see some of these like TikToks and like the transition that these people do. Like they'll flip the phone up, catch it, and now they're in a different outfit, and it's like, how the hell do you do that? Like honestly, how do you do?
So I
beats
will
me.
say that when TikTok started, like I was not I'm only on TikTok for this podcast. Like that's the only TikTok I have. Oh, besides my cleaning ASMR one, but that doesn't really count. But I was always like, ugh, TikTok, like another thing, another app, another whatever. I have since changed my opinion. And I remember when I was young, I have like boxes and boxes of tapes that like I used to make, like these videos I used to make with like my brother, with my friends or whatever, like these homemade like funny videos and things like that. And I love that there's like this app that like young people are getting on and just being fucking creative, no matter what it is, even if it's their fucking, dancing videos. Did I dance like that in 8th grade? No. But just being creative, just putting videos together, just editing and whatever. Like it's such a fun process. And I love that people are able to go on there and like this generation is really like just being fucking creative.
Right.
I love that.
And it's also just like documentation of life, in a sense. It's like kind of keeping like a journal or like a diary for like however young these girls are. Like they want to get on you could watch a video that you made 10 years ago and be like, oh, that's where I was at in life, that's how I was dressing. That's it is kind of cool. It is like a home video in a sense. My parents have so many of us. I love watching them. It's like write yourself a note and your future self a note. It's the same kind of concept. It is nice to be able to like reflect back in any way, especially digitally, because it's nice to watch stuff. We all like to watch stuff.
But some of these things they're doing, like the flipping the phones and stuff, I just don't.
I mean, I'm never going to be that person.
No. And it really is a full-time job, which is like, all of these influencers or content creators or whatever, like those are really full-time jobs.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
even like doing all the editing and stuff for this podcast and the clips and whatever, like I have, 3 days out of the week that I can do it, because then the other days I work to pay my bills, but like it's, if I could use all 7 days of the week to do this and still have the same amount of work and like say the same amount of stuff to do. Like it's really a full-time job. It's a lot of work. I give those people a lot of fucking credit for being able to do that.
Yeah, I just, like I said, I wish I was better at it because I know that you can make so much money and like do so many cool things. Just like with these influencers, where they're going, the things that they're paid to do. It's like paid.
Well, look
fun.
at Tequila Rob. He was flown. The reason he was in New York is because this tequila company flew him in, put him up in a hotel for a like tequila unveiling of some anniversary edition of a bottle that they were putting out. And how cool is that?
Right.
That's what you did, was just you got flown to New York, put up in a hotel, and went to a party to have fun.
Right. Unveil a bottle of tequila.
Right. Have fun.
Yeah, it's true. And it's like, it's so much, that a job like that is, so, in my opinion, so much cooler than going and sitting in front of a desk for 8 hours, but it's just unlocking that creative mind.
Yeah, he did. What were some of his pointers? His first pointer was to say something controversial.
I have no problem doing that.
Yeah.
That
but
one I could
hard.
do.
But it's hard because you want to say things, but people these days, not only are they like super judgmental, but they're so opinionated and like, because Rob had also mentioned that he has a lot of haters, and he was like, be ready for a lot of hate and a lot of hate on your page and whatever. And he's like, I have so many haters and people just shitting on me and like what I'm saying. And it's not that I don't have tough skin for that, because I definitely do. But the people who write hate are so much louder and than the people who write the positive. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like people who have something negative to say can't help themselves but to
Yeah.
say it.
Yep. Like the people who get on Yelp with their
Right.
bad reviews.
Exactly. They need to
Yeah.
say it. They have something negative to say and they need to say it.
Yeah.
And it's just such like you want to say something controversial. You want to like really speak your opinion, but you're just also at the same time like,
I just feel like if you are a person posting, whether you're posting for a small or a large audience, you're just out there in the public eye for like someone could view you in one way or another, you're going to get hate. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like people always have some like nasty shit to say. I don't know why. I don't know what is up everyone's ass all the time, but people are always going to have some shit to say. So you know what?
yeah.
There was a point in time where like it would ruin my day and I would lose sleep over like
Yeah.
a nasty comment or like an anonymous DM that I've gotten, because
Yeah.
I've gotten thousands of
Yeah.
nasty ones, 100% on all whatever account I'm on.
Yeah.
But now I'm just like, I don't even like bat an eye to it, because it's like no
Yeah.
matter what you do, people are gonna find something wrong with it. No matter how
Yeah.
you look, someone's gonna think you're ugly. I think Megan Fox is the epitome of beauty, and I'm sure there's someone out there that thinks Megan Fox is hideous. So it's like everyone's
Totally.
entitled to their opinion, and you have to just
I just think it's the more extreme people who have the most to say. I think it was Kristen Cavallari. You know who that is?
from the hills.
Well, from Laguna Beach originally, but that's a little past your
Yeah.
before your time. But yes, her stylist, his name's Justin Anderson, I think, and he like does her hair. And it was he had said something on his Instagram story when a lot of like political stuff was going on. And he was like, take a look at the people in your life, the people in, my life, whatever, the people who are you're closest to. He's like, they're probably like very in the middle. You know what I mean? Like it's like nobody really thinks this way. Nobody says these ridiculous things. Like think about the people that you know, whether they sit on the left or they sit on the right. They're not extreme people,
Right.
but it's the extreme people from both sides that make the most noise.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. But think about the people in your life, the people that you know that are more conservative, the people that you know that are a little bit more liberal.
Right.
They're not like that. They
Yeah.
don't think that way. They're not like crazy people.
Yeah, and they're not
but
jumping
it's-
down the other side's
Right.
throat. It's like
it's the extreme
Yeah.
people who make the most noise.
Yeah.
And it's just the same thing like with, the hate and the people who have negative things to say. It's the extreme people who and have the most to complain about, the most
Yeah.
to say about. And it just everyone forgot the expression, if you don't have anything nice to say,
I
don't say
know.
anything at all.
Well, I read a quote recently that said, anger is sadness that had nowhere to go for a very long time.
Oh.
And I thought to myself, like, that, like, really, like, I just had, like, chills again. Like, it's a
Yeah.
very sad thought that
Yeah.
someone feels so strong, with, like such strong anger and hate and resentment because they were so sad for so long. So when
Wow.
I come across a person who's not so nice or is bitter, and lately there are a few lingering, I genuinely, and I don't mean this in like a passive aggressive way or like a petty like I feel sorry, like no, I genuinely like just feel for them.
That makes a lot of
I really
sense.
do, because it's like clearly there's some inner child of yours that needs to be healed. And I empathize. So I'm not going to
Yeah.
like spew it back. It's just not worth it for me. I'm sorry that you're
Yeah.
dealing with whatever you're dealing with, that you probably don't even realize, because again, it's sadness that had nowhere to go for so long.
Yeah.
And now it's just hate.
That
and
makes
anger.
so much sense.
You know?
Because they always say that anger is a secondary emotion.
Mm-hmm. So those super, super loud people, they're
Or
just
sad.
really sad.
They're just really
They're
sad.
really sad.
They're
And that
really
makes
sad.
me sad.
And that
you
makes
know?
me
It
sad. I don't want
sucks.
people to be
Yeah.
sad.
So
But don't hate on Tequila Rob.
don't hate on Tequila
Yeah,
Rob, because
fuck
that
that.
guy is too good.
Yeah.
He's
Fuck
really
you if you hate on Tequila Rob.
salt of the earth. Walking us to our lunch. But yeah, so just things to think about for sure.
Gave us a lot to think about, I think, as far as our social media and
He-
our...
One thing that he said that stuck with me because I'll like go and like post a bunch of things, and I love quotes, and I love like fun videos. I love my monkey videos, you know, I love my chimpanzees, and like I'll post, and then I'm like, oh my god, before I know it, I have 10 fucking stories up, and I'm that annoying ass bitch
Right.
who posts constantly. And like then I'll go and be like, okay, which one should I delete, because now I'm annoying. And, like everyone's gonna think like this, like what's wrong with this girl? She's so obnoxious, you know, and that whatever. And it's like no one actually is thinking about it because no one fucking cares. But me, ADHD brain all over the place all the time. So he said like post constantly, post like crazy, post whatever you're into, and like whatever you're doing, like make sure that you really love doing it, because like people can sense the enthusiasm or the lack of. So those were like a couple of things that I'm like, you know what? Yeah, fuck yeah.
You're
I'm
right.
gonna post my chimpanzee videos, and if you don't like it, unfollow me, because I don't like you.
Yeah, fuck you.
They're cute videos. Yeah, fuck you. And that's that. And this is my personal page and my personal narrative, and I like my chimpanzees.
Right.
So if you don't buy, then that's it. And I'm not gonna go on and delete it 8 hours later, because I'm proud of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there are some people that are annoying with some of their stuff, but like that's only for me to think to myself. So keep doing it. Like, please keep going on about it and keep doing all your posts. I may think it's annoying, but that's my opinion, and I'm not a person who's going to say it out loud to you anyway. So keep doing you, and if that
you're
makes
not
you
a sad
happy,
person.
Right? Exactly. I don't think you're annoying though with
Thank
anything
you.
that you post. Anything.
I think
if
I
not,
am.
I need more. Like if anything, I need more.
All right. That's all I needed to hear.
I need more.
That's all I needed to hear.
Yeah, he did talk a lot about being consistent, but again, it's so hard when to do it every single day. It's really like a full-time fucking job.
Right. I'm sure if it was your only thing,
it would be a lot easier.
Of
Yeah,
course.
but to juggle it, it's a lot.
And I think about like the fitness influencers the most, because you know people are always like, oh, that's so hard, how do you do it? And it's like, and I'm not taking away from what anyone does, but if all you had to do was meal prep and go to the gym and post how good you look, and you got paid to do all those things, who wouldn't fucking look good? You know what I mean? Like that's where I get like a little bit, because these influencers who are like, keep posting, keep doing it, blah 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 blah, it's like, if I had nothing but time to do these things, I would, you know, but it's real. And that was what we were talking about before we started recording today. Like, oh, I came in and I've been going since fucking 7 a.m. and I feel like I didn't even get anything done. And yesterday I spent all day cooking and cleaning and meal prepping for the weekend, trying to set myself up, because today is Monday and I want like, you know, to come in hot, but there's just not enough time in any day to get anything done, I feel like. So it's really tough. And then as far as like, of course we all want to like get paid to do the fun things that we like to do, but it's to constantly post and to have content every single day. How do you do anything else? You know?
I don't know. And we're very lucky and fortunate that we don't have 9 to 5 jobs, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5s, that like, that would be impossible. Like
or kids. Like
or kids. Like I get all my I work a normal hour work week, but I do it in 3 days. I do it all at once so that I have my other days free. But like, we're fortunate that we can do things like that, you know, that you have school, you work, you know, once, you know, a couple days a week, whenever you feel like it, once in a while, really. But you have the luxury to be able to do that and to have this time. But like the people who work the 9 to 5, how do they get anything done? And that's not even like trying to be an influencer or posting any content. How do you just live life? Right. How do you work a 9 to 5 job and still like cook for yourself and work out and keep yourself healthy and, you know, clean your apartment and, you know, do even, like you said, have a fun hobby that you can actually enjoy your fucking life. How do you do it? How do they do it?
How do you keep up with friends? Like I have some friends who get mad at me, like, haven't talked to you and blah, blah. And it's like, I'm sorry, I don't even have the second to think of fucking myself. Like I can't be reaching out to everyone, hey, how are you? I would love to keep all these relationships, but it's like, it's tough. It really is tough. Like I genuinely, like, I remember when my mom and dad first moved down to Florida, like, and I was taking on all like the household responsibilities. The first week she was gone, I was like, Mom, like, I don't know how you do it. I really don't. Like, I don't know how anyone, working moms, just people, like, I don't, how do you adult?
How do you adult?
I'm tired.
How do you adult? Because I'm tired. And I give everyone everyone adulting, no matter which way you're adulting,
Yeah.
I give a lot of credit.
Let's all
Yeah.
group hug.
Let's all group hug and pat each other on the back and say, you're doing a good job.
You're doing a good job. And
You're
like
doing a good job.
we said in our mini-sode, let's normalize a coffee break.
Yeah, yeah.
And stop normalizing this goddamn grind all the time. Because holy hell, I'm tired.
Holy hell, I'm
I don't
fucking
have
tired.
time to nap, and I
Yeah.
need that nap.
Yeah.
So,
Agreed.
yeah, I feel like that's all I've got on that experience. It was a great day. It really
Yeah.
was.
And then we went to Italy.
Ugh. And
you've never been to Italy.
I haven't been prior to that day, but I want to return so bad. We
Oh,
wanted to
yeah.
go this past weekend, but of course,
Has he been?
time. No, he hasn't
he
either.
hasn't either.
Yeah, that's why we wanted
you
to
gotta
go.
you gotta take him.
Yeah.
So we went to Italy and we went to the rooftop. So they have like their little bars in Italy. Their little wine bars, which I personally love the most. I love sitting at those, especially in the winter. Those little like they all have marble countertops and like you do like little wine tastings and some little meats and cheeses and things like that. And then they have a rooftop restaurant, which is where we went. But every season they decorate it like insane. In the summer they have all these like fun flowers. We just went. It's the fall. They had all this great foliage.
Yeah.
And then the drinks we had there were good. So our drinks for this episode are actually going to be drinks that we drank there, and we have video and some audio of what we drank. We'll tell you all about it, and then we'll post the recipes for them too, so you can make them. But that was good. Italy was so tasty.
Yes,
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
very much so. I'm excited to return.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, guys. So
I hope you enjoyed this
Switch
slightly
up.
shaken, gone rogue
yeah,
episode.
Yeah, for
This
sure.
was new for us, but I liked it. I thought it was such a good experience, and taking a moment of gratitude that this is kind of like where this brought us, was meeting
Yeah.
up with this guy and getting down with tequila.
Hell yeah,
I
life
love
is
it.
so cool sometimes.
Yeah,
you
really,
know?
really is such a cool day.
So, thank you guys. We will see you next week.
And if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Bye.